let's talk to Arden in Canada. Arden, welcome to the show. You're live with me and Dave. How can we help you today?
Well, I've been reading through a lot of the morality arguments from the Christianity side and the skeptic side.
Okay.
And I'm looking to talk to some other people about it because that's probably better than just myself.
Perfect. Well, we're here for it. What's you got?
Arden.
Hey, so what I've been looking at is I took a look at nihilism and its forms, and I compared it to kind of Sam Harris's well-being moral landscape philosophy. And it seems that in if you were to do anything to try and have life survive, you would need a subjective morality that wouldn't just be for humans, but would go for the smallest life form and adapt itself, randomly change, and, could do things that would be unconscionable to a human life form, but you would have to do as a smaller life form. So I'm kind of wondering if there's any kind of limits of subjectivism and morality that might stop that at like a small scale.
V, you take the lead on that because I'm not sure I even understand that.
Yeah, I'm going to take a guess here, but if I'm off at all or you're wandering away, let me know, Arden, and we'll come right back. I have not read all of Sam Harris's works on morality and all of that, but I am probably of the mindset that, subjective morality is, more likely than any kind of objective, unless, again, we agree on said objective. And in this case, I would say that it's well-being of you and your tribe, your group, your community. Can you walk me through a little bit more about what you're talking about in terms of like smaller life forms? Where's that coming in from?
Yeah. So I'm not saying that the well-being is what you should be doing for, but I'm saying that there are certain small things that would explain why life has gone the way it is. So, for instance, things in nature may be using smaller portions of a subjective morality. We may just not see it, but you have things like dolphin infanticide, where dolphins kill baby dolphins to try to improve their chance of reproducing. Certain species kill themselves off when they mate. And that's what you would expect if you had this giant planet, which was basically a thunderdome of life forms competing against one another.
Yeah.
And a objective morality probably wouldn't be very useful, at least, until an advanced enough life forms was decided that, there is some utility to a objective morality, which is why you would see why religions tend to claim that a God would give us a definitive standard, because it's easier for people to accept that.
Right. Okay. So you're asking where that deviation is between human morality and what we see in other species that are maybe not adhering to that well-being standard?
I wouldn't even say it's a well-being standard, because you can struggle in a negative direction. Things like suicide are better explained in a subjective reality than in a moral objective.
Well, I think the key here is that we are at this weird place that, for all we know, we alone inhabit as humans, where we have enough of a developed consciousness that we can think about ourselves, right? We can get meta about everything. And that causes the ideas of morality, right? The reason it is so difficult to get a handle on and write down in like 10 rules, say, is because we are not given it from somewhere else. We are observing our own animal selves and collectively trying to use this accidental consciousness that we have access to figure out how to do the best we can for as many of us as we can, because we discovered that makes us more likely to succeed at, surviving and passing on our genes. So I think the key there is that it could very well be that if other groups of animals, other species, did have that higher level consciousness, they would also have a sense of morality. And it could very well be that, you know, some of them do, and we just don't know about it, right? Elephants have rituals and what is considered to be the appropriate actions to take in certain situations, right? That could be a kind of proto-morality. I think that I don't know. I guess my question is, where does this end up? Is there an argument for or against a certain kind of morality here?
And I think that morality, when we're talking about the animal kingdom, may be the wrong word. I think we've observed in nature and in animals empathy and compassion, and those kind of emotions. We see animals have emotions, but we talk about how they treat one another and even their own species and their own selves. That's instinctive, that's nature, and I don't know that we can attach the word morality to that. Where that's just my own thoughts. I've learned a long time ago not to try to speak authoritatively on stuff I have no idea what I'm talking about, because I end up sounding like an idiot. But my own understanding of this and my thoughts along these lines when we're talking about morality is, as V touched on, we're the only species that we know of that can think in terms of, is that a moral act? Is that not a moral act? Is that something that, you know, so we attach moral implications to things we do and say. And where we got in trouble, I think, as a species, if you will, is trying to attach a deity to the moral framework within which we live. And that's where, you know, we've had these arguments on and on about objective morality, and Christians asserting that you can't have any morality without God, and that God ordained a certain set of morals. And in, you know, I've had conversations, as well as all of us have, with people, with theists who maintain that God is the one that designed morality and he's the lawgiver and blah, 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 blah. And all you have to do is take a peek at the 10 Commandments and realize how much bullshit that is. And as we've evolved and as we've come to understand, for instance, that it's not okay to own one another, then we realize that God didn't even figure that out in the Old Testament. So, you know, we go down that road really fast, and then you start talking about what slavery is and what it's not, and oh my God, that gets off the rails really fast. But in terms of morality and how we look at nature, I wouldn't even pretend to understand that. I'm not a biologist or any of those things, but I see nature just has its own rules, and I don't think we're capable of even trying to understand, much less attach some kind of a judgment on whether those rules are moral or not. Not that you're doing that. I'm just thinking, how do we even how do
against that?
Yeah. I think that's kind of crazy to even think that we should say, look at, oh, those dolphins shouldn't do that. Shame on them. How the hell do we know? You know,
I would say that the idea being that if you use subjective morality, you can argue all the way back to just before consciousness, and also that we are not ourselves. What we think of as morality is actually just a sufficient variation of what nature is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why, you know, like one of the most common things you hear in all the debates says, like, you're waiting for like the Hitler, the Stalin, the Mao card to drop.
Right.
And I don't know if you've heard that when Dr. Craig said he couldn't imagine a reality where what Hitler did was good. But then, of course, you say, well, you seem to have this interesting argument about it's expunging the Amalekites in the Bible. Like it seems that was a pretty subjectively given command, and you know, you can keep going back. One thing is, I said, if you go through the tape of what happened in history, you can go and see every possible claimed event and see it for what it actually is. When do your claims likely deteriorate? So if you have a subjective morality that says, well, you know what, as existence was developing and it had this most minimal framework that, you know, didn't differentiate between right and wrong, it just did what it thought it should do, regardless of the consequences, that will probably hold up better than any divine claim ever could. Because I think it's like the moment you make a divine claim, you're immediately saying, okay, that's the best I got.
Right. Well, I think we're all in agreement there. I think
yeah.
the question just becomes then, this is not a comfortable topic for a lot of people, right? The idea that there is subjective morality, the idea that it comes primarily from our biology and the way our brains are structured, it's very uncomfortable for people because it's very comforting to be able to divvy everything up into, you know, good and bad, black and white, all of that. So I think this is an awesome conversation, Arden. Thank you for calling in. If you come across a theist who, you know, makes you think about something new, it happens.
Yeah.
Give us a call back. Let us know how you're doing. Okay.
Okay. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Arden.
Thank you. Bye.
I know why we're getting all these calls from the out west. It's earlier there, and it's not Super Bowl time yet.
There you go.
Yeah, that's maybe it. Of course, Canada could be east too. I don't know where he is.
All right. We've got a Texas caller. So let's go to Jake. Oh, actually, you know, before we do that, I forgot to thank the patrons.
Oh yeah, it's Patreon time.
I'm going to do that first, even though it's a little bit past 2/3 of the way through the episode. Oh, Eric's going to kill me. I always give him so much shit for forgetting, and then I forgot. All right. Thank you, Eric Tweet, Desert Heathen, Bethany P, Ward Knipling, and Balaam's Donkey. And honorary mention, as always, goes to Dingleberry Jackson. Without people like you, we would not be able to do what we do. We would not be able to fund all of the amazing stuff that we're able to do. We sent Black non-believers on a cruise for their 10th anniversary, which was amazing. A cruise? No, not a cruise, a conference. And we are doing things like feeding the homeless out here in Austin. Because of COVID, it's been getting really bad out here, but we're able to, you know, help where we can. And yeah, just making sure that people who call in get someone to talk to. And then also just want to shout out Recovering from Religion. Ethan Michael did an awesome fundraiser the other day. And because of our ability to participate in that, we ended up raising over $5,000 for them, which was awesome. So thank you so much if you gave to that, if you gave today, if you are a recurring patron, whatever level you pledge at. We appreciate you. We couldn't do this without you.
Amen.
Oh, that word though.
I know.
Like, you know, sometimes nothing else works. You got to do it.
Hey, woman.
Oh, right. Oh, gosh. That was so cringy. When that happened, I was like, "Oh no!"
You had a visceral reaction to that, V.
That was
oh my God, that was funny. That was worth just seeing your reaction.